Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, welcome anyway. It is lovely to have you here. My name is Fiona Lohr and I am a recovered ed warrior. I suffered from anorexia and bulimia throughout 11, 12, 13 years, and now I help people who are suffering from the same or who have a difficult relationship with food, restriction, dieting, and simply getting their life on track. So we're all on the same boat, don't you worry. You are more than welcome here, and I am happy to talk to you today about black and white mentality, or an all or nothing mentality. Now, this is something that I have struggled with for most of my life, where I am such an incredible, serious perfectionist, and this simmers and settles down in most areas of my life, and it's really tiring, really. It's really tiring. And it became mostly apparent when I was suffering from my eating disorder. So one of the things that happened is actually that last week I posted a reel on Instagram and I referred to running to shrink myself into nothingness. And I actually got a message from a friend, a really old friend who I went to kindergarten with. And she said, you know, it's really funny and relatable how when I go running, I also just want to burn calories, and that's the only reason I run for. And on top of that, when I'm running, or when I finish my run, I don't want to eat anything because I'm doing so well. And this is funny, and I thought, why does this happen? Because I related to that so much. I thought, wow, yes, I remember having that too, where when I would start my day off with a run and would start a negative calorie, like a really big calorie deficit, like minus 300, minus 400, I would think, okay, I really need to keep this up because every calorie I consume now is one too much. And then if I did eat, or I would postpone my breakfast for a really long time, and then when I did eat, I would eat. Like, I would have a sandwich with eggs, and on top of that, because I would have a sweet craving afterwards, I would have a sandwich with hagelslag, so chocolate sprinkles. But nowadays, that's enough. Nowadays, that's when I finish, or whether I'm still hungry or not, I might have some more or less, whatever. But back then, that's when it started. That's when my brain would go click and I would eat. Like, I would eat so much because I was starving myself. I would run, I would not eat for the next 7 or 8 hours, and then I would think, okay, well, maybe I should eat something because this probably isn't healthy either. I was not thinking of making a big booty. I was not thinking of building muscle. I was purely thinking of losing the weight on the scale. Now, obviously, it's super contradictory because the moment that I would start to eat and I would eat a lot, then I would feel guilty for eating so much, because why can't I just continue this diet? Why can't I just tell myself or listen to myself where I said, I'm going to finish eating after this, and then somehow have these immense sugar cravings where I would open the cupboards and just eat the chocolate, eat the bananas, eat the cookies, whatever was in the house, and then obviously go and puke it up. So on top of wasting a lot of food, I also felt shitty because I had made a promise to myself. I broke that promise, and then I would go up and puke, and that would be a cycle. And then, okay, so tomorrow I'll start. And if this sounds relatable to you, this whole idea of, okay, but I'm gonna take it all today because tomorrow is when I'll really start. No, you gotta start now. Now. And obviously this is a bad example because I'm not saying start your diet now, because this whole page isn't meant for dieting. This whole page is meant to show you that diet culture is shitty and you need to change your lifestyle rather than follow each and every fad diet. But yeah, that. So in this whole problem of black and white thinking, this would also happen with starting these videos, for example, because I wanted to start my coaching business 3 or 4 years ago already. And then every time I was like, well, I'm not ready yet. I have not studied enough yet. I am not qualified yet. I'm not good enough yet. And I had all these excuses not to start. And then a few weeks ago, I started filming my first videos, and I thought, you know what? It doesn't have to be perfect. And look at me now making all these videos, and they're still not perfect. And guess what? They're never gonna be perfect because perfection doesn't exist. So in trying to attain this perfect body posture, body type, the perfect outfit, the perfect makeup look, the perfect, I don't know, the perfect put something in this blank, it doesn't exist. There is no such thing as perfection. And trying to make yourself perfect is just going to make you more and more miserable, uncomfortable with yourself, because even if you've come super far and you still look at yourself in the mirror and everything has changed that you wanted to change except one little thing, you're going to nitpick this one little thing. And this is where it ties in with a whole greater story, where once you, for example, you're on a diet and you've had a cheat day, and I'm not a big fan of cheat days because, as I said, you need to change your lifestyle rather than adhering to this diet. You have a cheat day, and this cheat day blows up. So instead of having a pizza for dinner, you end up having a pizza, some ice cream, and during the day you've also had cookies, and you've had all these bad things because your brain or your society is telling you you can't have these bad things. So then what do you tell yourself at the end of the evening? Well, I failed anyway, I am a failure, I suck, so I might as well just continue. So the next day you wake up and you're going to start all over. You make one little mistake and it all goes to shit anyway because of that one little mistake. Now, does that sound relatable? Does that, because I'm Italian, come closer, listen. For all of you in the back, stop it. Stop doing this to yourself, because this is something that I did to myself for a really long time, and it's a negative spiral, and you're in it, and I get it. It's harsh. And how do you start? I mean, you're not going to become an intuitive eater from one day to the other. It doesn't just happen like that, because you have screwed up your hunger signals. You have screwed up your satiation signals. And I'm not saying you're lost and you're not going to fix it again, because you can be fixed. You can fix yourself. It's just that you need to get rid of this mindset that it's never going to get better, and that you are stuck with this eating disorder, and that you're stuck in this diet culture, because you're not. You just need to snap out of it. And by snapping out of it, I mean that you need to start accepting that we make mistakes, that it's okay to make mistakes or to let go of this tight grip we have. We're constantly searching for control, which is the reason for many eating disorders in the first place. It's a way to control something in our life, because what do we really have control over? Really, what do we really have control over? Not much. So, coming back to the beginning of this video, as I said, black and white, stop making everything all or nothing, 0 or 100. Start accepting that there is a gray area between the black and white. Start accepting that 60% is also good enough. It doesn't have to be 100%. And in that, be realistic with yourself, and don't be so incredibly harsh on yourself, because what would you say to a friend who is on a diet and she had this complete pig out? What would you say? It's okay, just continue the next day or continue tonight? Or would you say, gosh, you really do suck, I can't believe you failed? Talk to yourself like your own best friend, because if you're not going to talk to yourself like that, nobody's going to do it. So be kind to yourself. I would definitely start there. Now, how did I get out of this cycle is actually quite interesting, because I went from puking 6, 7, 8 times a day to now having been puke-free for about 3 or 4 years. And as I said, that didn't happen overnight. Like, I would still overeat, I would still starve myself, and it would go up, down, up, down, up, down, and such a continuous cycle. However, at some point, I realized that I could shift my perfection to something else. So my roommate back at school actually made this entire poster where she made like a calendar with the numbers of the days, so 1 till 31. And every day that I didn't puke, she would color it a color of the rainbow. And I thought that looked so pretty. And obviously that didn't make me stop puking the first 3 days. I would keep it up 2 days at a time and then fail again. Then 3 days at a time, fail again. 5 days, fail again. 2 days, fail again. So this was my progress, right? So ups and downs, like a normal linear progress line that you see in the media. And so I realized on a day-to-day basis that I wasn't gonna see the difference on a day-to-day basis. No, I was gonna have to look back, be consistent, and then look back and see how far I'd come. So did I expect to stop puking the very next day? Yes, because I thought, see, I'm a perfectionist, so I want this poster to look beautiful. I want it to look colorful and nice, and without black spots in between. But realistically, I also knew that this was an eating disorder that I had been struggling with for a long time, 7 or 8 years already. So it wasn't just going to be finished from one day to the other. And looking back, I am so proud because that's where my real recovery started. Like, my eating disorder started at school, but the real recovery also started when I was just about to finish school. And it took another 4 or 5 years before I fully recovered and I fully started loving myself. But I mean, think about it. You have been teaching your brain, if in my case, I'd been teaching my brain for a long time that I wasn't good enough, I was insufficient, I had to be skinnier, look better, get better grades, all these things, these things we teach ourselves in operant conditioning. I had to unlearn this behavior, and that doesn't happen overnight. So for you, it's not gonna happen overnight either. Take it easy, you got this, I got it, so you got it. And with that, I wanna round off this video. Do let me know if you have any questions, because I can imagine it's a bit of a rumble jumble, and as I was explaining this thing, it's a bit of a rumble jumble for me, because that's just how my mind works. Go from black and white thinking to this is how I got rid of my puking, but welcome to my brain. You are more than welcome in my space. I wish you a lovely day today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I can't wait to have you back next week. Thank you so much.